Welcome. Today, we are going to have some special guests from the Sprite Club NFT. We have Don and then Clancy and Ophelia here today.
Hello.
So, welcome. How's it going today, Don?
Good, good. Glad to be on here. It feels like a bit of a privilege. How glad to just appreciate to be invited, to be honest.
Yeah, yeah, it's great to have you on. I know we've had some back and forth discussions, and we've been trying to figure out a good time to come on, basically. Um, but definitely glad to have you here. And then Clancy and Ophelia, how are you two doing today?
Pretty good. How about you?
Yeah, good. How you doing, man?
Good. We're glad to have brought you guys on here. I know that the Sprite Club, it it's tough because like people associate Sprite with the drink, and sometimes people think because they're avatars, they're sprites. So people have been saying like Sprites Club to me, and I feel like not in like a bad way or anything, but I I feel like I always have to double check to make sure I'm like spelling it right, even though it's an easy word. But yeah, so like today I just kind of wanted to go over like what you guys are all about, and we have some giveaways in place, and we're going to talk about that a little later as well. So I guess just to start, like, where did you guys start with NFTs? I believe that Clancy and Ophelia, um, you guys started the project, correct?
No, we all started as co-founders at the same time. The full co-founding team. We were all there like from the start. But kind of, I guess my background was I was kind of in or like working on an NFT project back in like 2018 when I didn't really have a clue what an NFT was, and I was like still quite new to the space in terms of actually understanding crypto and stuff. I certainly hadn't like had a grasp on like smart contracts and what an NFT was. And like I didn't really understand it, and then kind of just forgot about it until like last year when like Don and I started looking more into NFTs, kind of like around the same time that Don probably got into crypto and like properly into NFTs and stuff. So, and then Julie, like Ophelia and I have been together for like 3 years now. So you've kind of been like gradually indoctrinated into NFTs by me, right?
Yeah, it's really funny because like I couldn't really tell you when I got interested in it because I've always been a creative, right? So crypto, I knew that Clancy was into crypto when we started dating, but I kind of steered clear. It just never really piqued my interest. But once I started seeing NFTs, I got into it, and I remember like less than a year ago being at a conference, an a crypto conference in London. And at the time I worked in an adult toy store. So when people kept asking what I did for work, I didn't really want to tell them my job. And so I was just like, oh, I'll just as a joke tell everyone I'm an NFT artist and just like fake it till I make it. And I guess I took the joke a little too far because here we are.
Yeah, it's pretty cool how it works out that way sometimes, huh? Where like, a lot of people in the NFT space, they come from that whole like starving artist idea. And now this has been a big break for a lot of people because of how we had a conversation yesterday with some guys from the Smilesverse team, and they talked about how it's almost like you don't have to go searching for like ways to get a job or a position, and you're able to take out that middleman and be able to connect through things like Twitter or Instagram or whatever, like straight to the consumer basically. So then Don, how did you get connected with the other two here?
So actually, a few years ago, Clancy and I both worked at the same company, taking like a year out of university. And we've been pretty close friends ever since. We actually lived together at the same time. So we've been in close contact ever since that. Ever since we lived together. Clancy was already into crypto at the time, but I probably didn't get into it until a few years later. And then when I discovered about NFTs is when sort of I really jumped in like head first into the world of crypto, and I'm lucky enough to be able to work in it full time. So it's been a wild ride to get here.
Yeah.
But grateful to be here all the same.
Yeah, so definitely excited to have you guys here. Before we get into the next thing, I'm just, for the live viewers, if you're watching this, one of the first ways that we're going to do a giveaway in the stream is once we get to 20 likes on the YouTube video. We're currently at 8, so there's another 15, 17 of you that are watching. So if you haven't clicked yet, click the like, and then we'll start up the first giveaway here on stream. So then getting back to the Sprite, so where I wanted to ask you guys, like, where did you get the inspiration for specifically Sprite Club? Like, I'm not sure if this had just always been your style of art, or the story behind it. So where did sort of the inspiration specifically come from here?
So I think we were like thinking about doing an NFT project, and I wasn't even originally like on as like the artist in any official capacity. I was just a person that didn't work as an artist, who had some like artistic ability, and I was just going to help out and draw like a few sketches for the team, because they basically had like a little alpha group of like friends and colleagues, and they'd floated the idea of doing this NFT project. They were looking at all the different like creatures that were out there, and ended up settling on something kind of elf like in the fantasy kind of realm, because we hadn't seen much of that about. And I was super excited about that because I like during the pandemic, I think I really got into fantasy. I think like a lot of people, I kind of wanted to escape anything that was related to real life. And when I was looking at the NFT space, I saw a lot of like streetwear stuff, which, don't get me wrong, I adore, because like Clancy and I both have a background in fashion. But when I was thinking about like sitting down and spending hours drawing something with absolutely like no guarantee that it was going to pay off in any way, the idea of like escaping into a fantasy world was far more appealing to me. And so I guess I drew my inspirations from a bunch of places. My main thing was that I didn't want to gather inspiration from the NFT space, not because there isn't like incredible art out there, but because we just didn't want to be derivative in any way. So I was gathering inspiration from, classic literature that I love, A Midsummer's Night Dream, Coraline, Alice in Wonderland. And then kind of like the more fantasy things that I got into over the various lockdowns, like things like Game of Thrones, role-playing games in the style of like D&D. And then I guess my own personal touch would be that like I love fantasy, but I find the aesthetic can be like quite traditional fantasy, can be quite like masculine, gray, brown, and I wanted to bring some color into it, like kind of fantasy properties that I personally love, like Alice in Wonderland, something that's very trippy and sometimes cute and sometimes a little bit spooky. So that's how like the aesthetic came together. And I suppose the name, again, we wanted to have leeway with like a fantasy creature that maybe didn't have as much of like an existing archetype as something like an elf does. And Sprite, I know like a lot of people's main association is with the drink, but Sprites have been a feature of folklore, and they've meant many different things to many different cultures. Generally, they are some kind of fairy / elf-like creature with magical abilities. And it was loose enough that, unlike other things like, say, a vampire or an elf or a dwarf, didn't have such a like rigid archetype that's like stuck in media that would lead people to jump to conclusions. So that's kind of what we went with. And that's why we stuck with the name Sprites.
Yeah, I think it's pretty cool how like the inspiration from fantasy worlds kind of coming together. And we have a question here in the chat for Ophelia. What is your most favorite fantasy TV show that is not Game of Thrones?
This won't surprise really anyone that like looks at the art for any length of time, but I would say Midnight Gospel, and or if that's not really fantasy enough, I guess Adventure Time. I love animation, like number one, over anything live action. So I guess as a TV show, Adventure Time would definitely be up there.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of Adventure Time, and I think what's nice about this sort of art style is it's pretty like simple. One thing I talk about a lot in some projects that I don't really like is they get too busy. Like there's so much going on, and it seems like in these, as it's filtering through the different ones, like they all look a little different, but it's all pretty simple. There's a lot of clean ones that are that ear, I think, is one that is like the trait that you notice from this right away is like they all have that one ear sticking out, but the ear is different. There's a lot of different ears that are there. So, yeah, definitely something that I think, can work as far as the simplicity of it. And like it's a cute little sprite. Um, and so we have a collection of 7,777 of these. Um, Wanted to just go over a little bit on the minting process because you guys have a sort of choose your own adventure that you're calling it for the minting process. So can you just quickly sort of go over what you mean by that and how the minters and the future buyers are going to be something that I feel is relatively unique as far as these projects go?
Yeah, for sure. So, I wouldn't call it a choose your own adventure. I think it's written in the style of a choose your own adventure, but it's more of a narrative driven personality quiz in the same sense that to use a very like well known example, in the same way that you might do like a sorting hat quiz on like Pottermore to find out your Hogwarts house. So the idea is that, like you described, there are different ear shapes, and there are 5 different ear shapes and skin tones that correspond to one another, and there are 5 classes of sprite. They all have different personality traits that are like unique that we came up with. So they are warriors, mystics, adventurers, rogues, and muses. So they each have a personality archetype, and obviously they'll play slightly different roles in like the lore and the world that we're building. So the idea is that as part of your minting process, you would go through a story where you'll come up against obstacles and have to make choices based on your personality. And based on those choices you make, we will classify you as one of these 5 classes. So the sprite that you mint will reflect your personality in some way. The traits are all randomized, but the class, which is like the color and the ear, will be tailored to the community's personality. And what's really cool about that is it allows us to kind of play with some like game theory type aspects when it comes to user designed rarity, right? Because essentially, if everyone does the quiz on mint day and there are just a lot more rogues than say warriors, that will reflect in the collection. It will affect in the rarity of the classes, which is really cool. We wanted to play with something like that to allow our community to kind of shape the overall collection. So that's something we can't wait to see play out.
Cool. Yeah. And I know that when there's projects like this where there's sort of these 5 subsets, then a lot of your holders will create sort of their own little niche within the niche and be like the
Mhm.
subset of all the mystics, and they'll do stuff together. So are you guys planning things like events, or not sort of like games where you're competing against each other, but are you planning on doing different things that are like focused based on each subset?
Um, we can't go into too much detail, like in terms of roadmap, but what I can say is that like we already have channels set up and waiting for people that can verify, each that they are each class, and I'm really excited to see if the personality types of each class are reflected in the conversation. I'd be really interested to see if you would hop into the warriors chat, and whether that would be vastly different from the topics of conversation and the general atmosphere in, say, like the Muse chat. And I'm sure like any events or like class specific things going forward would be tailored to suit the preferences and personalities of the people in that class. So again, something super exciting that you like. That's why community is so important to us, because they shape the collection and the future of the collection in such a massive way.
Yeah, that's a pretty cool way to sort of set up the community. And Yumi Spaghetti is asking to each of you, which class of Sprite would you classify yourselves as, and why?
You gotta go first.
Okay, I gotta go first. I am a Muse Sprite. So they are, if you are looking at the graphic, they are the kind of orangey, peachy colored ones with kind of like a frilly ear. We can't really say why too much, I guess, because we obviously, for the sake of like letting everyone go into the minting adventure without any like preconceived notions of what they want or what they think they are, to get the most honest answers possible, we're not going to disclose the personality types just yet. But I mean, the name is Muse, make of that what you will. And I guess Clancy and Dom can tell you about what they are.
Yeah, I'm a mystic. I guess I can't say more than that. It's mystical, just like
They are the purple ones with the curly ears.
Yeah.
Yeah. So my avatar here is a mystic, and although like we like the other two have said, we can't say too much about it. Anyone who knows me and that would have read the mystic description would say it's a very accurate reflection of who I am.
Yeah, it's kind of like doing one of those like kind of what you were saying with the personality tests, where you have on like BuzzFeed or something, it's like, which are you? So it'll be cool to see like how the results of those go too, especially in someone was saying in chat that the less rare, like it's almost like you don't want to be rare, because that means maybe you don't vibe with as many people in the community, because like the common like thinkers in a way are going to have similar, like say a bunch of the people, like half the people or like some big number like that are in mystics, then maybe you kind of want to hang out with the mystics because they're similar to you. So I think that's kind of cool. We're getting one question. What are the ones with squiggly eyes? That's just a trait, correct?
Yeah, I'd say in a way it's like it's
our logo, it's a trademark in a
yeah,
way.
it's our like
symbol.
Super definitive, distinctive kind of feature. So they have quite a few variations, and they'll crop up a lot in our like general marketing materials, a lot of the honoraries that we've done, because they're I think like all projects have something super recognizable, and the eyes were actually probably the first thing I did that like reflects the Sprite artwork as it is today, because I drew the wiggly eyes first on like a slightly different base of something that wasn't quite the finished version of what a Sprite would be. So the wiggly eyes came even before the classes, came before the ear shapes. So they are like very core to our like visual identity.
Yeah. So the ears and the sort of skin tone are the only things reflected of classes. All the other traits that you see on the screen there, they can vary across all five of them.
Yeah, the squiggly eyes, it's kind of like rainbow puke for doodles. Like that one, what you're looking at, what sort of brand it is, which I think is cool when projects do stuff like that, because that's how you really stand out from other projects. Like people won't say, "Oh, this looks just like a cool cat." You hear that with like some projects that come out because they look basically the same, but they're just a different animal. But these, like the squiggly eyes, like I haven't really seen anything like that specifically. So I like the idea that you have something that's basically keeping you guys a little separate from others in a unique factor.
Yeah, we even had a member of the community the other day in Discord. I didn't know it was happening, but sort of made their own custom Sprite Club merch, and they had this like yellow cap with the squiggly eyes stitched in black on the front, and it actually looked really clean, looked really cool. So
yeah, that's always cool when like your own community come together and start creating their own like fan art. So I'm gonna quickly pivot and we have over the 20 likes, so I'm going to set up this first giveaway. And the way that you can enter in this one is you're going to type into the chat, and it's hashtag Sprite is what we're going to do. So I'll pull that screen up here for a second just so people can see. But you just type hashtag Sprite in the chat, and I'll enter you in. And then in a couple of minutes, I'll draw that name, and that'll be one of the whitelist spots that we have to give out. So yeah, if you're just following along, you could do that. Now back to what we were talking about with you guys and in this minting function. Can we go over a little of when is expected for the mint and the process of minting specifically?
So our mint date has not been announced yet. We want to make sure that we have like everything to a level of like smoothness and perfection that it can like possibly be. I can say it's fast approaching, it's coming soon, and obviously we will make sure to give everyone ample warning. We are like, yeah, we are reaching that point. And to get more into like the minting process, so what will happen is we are doing a allow list, I guess we call it our Sprite List only mint, at least off the bat. That is our intention. So there will be a minting period where people can take the test, the quiz at their own leisure, so that people aren't, fighting for gas prices and rushing through answers, because we really need to create that experience where you can sit down and take time with it and get involved in the story rather than like fighting to mint faster than other people. So that period will then close, and we will have a pre-reveal period, because the way that it works is we need everybody's data collated, because our max mint is 2. So the first Sprite that you mint will be the one that directly reflects your personality based on your answers in the minting adventure. If someone then chooses to mint a second Sprite, the way that will work is we will collate all of the data from the minting adventures and then apply the ratio of rarity of classes to secondary mint. So the way that would work would be, say we had 15% adventurer sprites. On the second mint, people will mint a Sprite. It will be assigned at random, so it could be of any class, but there will be a 15% chance of minting an adventurer Sprite in that scenario, so that we can preserve the community-driven rarity metric of the classes. So during that period as well, it's going to be really exciting, because we'll get to drop the actual lore, because obviously like we want, as soon as people reveal them, to know what it means about them, right? So probably every day we will be dropping, a full amount of lore, and that's something our community is super excited about, because we are famously very evasive and vague when it comes to actually giving details about our lore and our roadmap as well. And the reason for that is because we're telling a story here, right? It's all about a story, and the minting process is very much the prologue. So we can't reveal much until people have like had their entryway and the beginning of the story to enter the Sprite realm. So that's going to be a really exciting period where everyone will be able to speculate, compare answers on the quiz, discuss like, oh, I answered this, you answered the same. Do you think we'll both be, mystics or whatever? And then after that, we will obviously have the reveal. And following that, the minting quiz will shortly become available publicly, so that people can take the quiz themselves. So if anyone's looking to buy on secondary, they can also buy a Sprite that is of their custom class.
Yeah. So basically, is everything going to be on Sprite List? There won't be a public sale?
That's sort of the goal we're aiming for, yeah, just to ensure, like Ophelia said, that everyone has the time necessary to enjoy the story that we've worked hard to build, and obviously avoid gas wars and such like that. So yeah, we'll be sort of reserving spots for people before allowing them to be able to mint in any fashion.
And of course, like we have a system set up for if, because obviously like you can only like Sprite list so many people, so that everybody, if they choose to, can mint the max mint. So that obviously means that there is going to be some leeway there, and we have, methods set up. I don't think as far as our plan is, there will ever be like a fully public sale, but, we have systems in place to make sure that, that is filled, and that might open up to people that maybe weren't necessarily Sprite listed, whether that's in our community or through our Twitter followers and things like that. So we have those things in place, but primarily priority and the majority goes to our Spritelings or people on the Sprite list.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's super cool because you're really sort of building the community first, and the relationships, and like you said, where people can sort of talk to each other about what they got as the results of the personality, and then you're sort of re-rolling that second one in order to still split things out relatively even across the 5 different types. So that's pretty cool. And maybe you guys are over 10,000 in your Discord now, I saw. So like it seems like a lot of people are getting eyes on you as well. Do you have any sort of like target of number of people in the Discord or following on, say, Twitter, before going to that next step, or is it just sort of once it feels right?
On our Discord numbers, we only have 3,800 at the moment, actually. But that's because we've been sort of trying to create and foster an environment that people feel comfortable in and don't feel overwhelmed by bots and spammy messages and such, because as our project is personality driven, we want people to feel like they can come in our space and sort of act as they normally would and be themselves. So we've kept the Discord closed or private, at least, to avoid an environment growing that we aren't able to sort of control and foster. But in terms of our Twitter followers, we've hit, I think, over 17,000 today. So obviously it's been insane, the reception we've had. Like, we've been nothing but grateful. But in terms of a target, I guess our mint number is 7777. So because we'll be maximum, allowing people to mint a maximum of 2, we'll be looking to Sprite List like just under 4,000 people, I guess, in total. But obviously we haven't revealed how many people we have Sprite listed so far. Yeah.
Cool. And I know, so we're planning on doing a bunch of different giveaways and way for people to get on the Sprite list. Some of that's going to be through Twitter. Some of it's going to be through our Discord. You guys have been kind to give us some of these to pass out. So I'll go ahead and give out the first one here from this. We have 22 entrants so far, and let's see which one gets it. And so the process of this is going to be, you're going to let me know your Discord name. So Pauletta, if you could type your Discord name into the comments right now, I'm going to snap that. Include the numbers as well. And then you're going to be one that's on the list for me. And then basically what we're going to have is you will get you that specific Discord invite link. As mentioned before, like they have a closed off Discord. So we want to make sure that we get you that specific link. So congratulations, Pauletta. If you could just throw that Discord name in there, we'll go ahead. So I like that you guys are doing it this way, where it's closed off for the most part. It really keeps that inclusivity where people can build those sort of relationships in the community to start out. So what do you guys think as far as like the long term in this Sprite Club? Like, where do you guys see this project going? Do you think it's going to be the type of thing where there's in real life kind of meetups? Or is it going to mostly be this community driven through the online world?
Yeah, I could take that. I mean, technically, we have had Sprite fam members meet each other in the wild and become friends
Yeah,
through
two
our
guys did
Discord,
that,
which is
yeah.
really cool. They like literally they were like, "Thank you, we found a best friend through you." So that's really cool. But I mean, we have lofty ambitions. You know, we've kept our roadmap very vague for the reasons that I've stated about storytelling, but it's there, and it's, you know, we have high ambitions. We, you know, primarily this was founded from a love of NFTs. So we have many plans that are firmly rooted in the Web3 space. However, you know, like a lot of projects, like we have ambitions beyond that, and we want to work on brand building, Web3 and beyond. So we certainly have plans that will move into IRL, so to speak. But our roadmap is multi-pronged. We're going, like, you know, we want to keep people well fed with content, you know, as quickly as we possibly can. So while we have things in the medium to long term in the works, we want to make sure that we are keeping the community engaged and passionate in the short term. So, you know, that's, you know, things from a Web3 perspective, things from an IRL perspective, merch and such. You know, I can't go into it too much, but as we mentioned, Clancy and I both have like an extensive background in the fashion industry. So it's worth mentioning that, you know, when we do merch, it's certainly not something we intend to half-ass. It's something we're super excited about. And we want to provide stuff for everyone in a lot of different avenues. So while we can't go into the details of it, we certainly have no intentions to keep it kind of like just isolated within the community. We are very much interested in brand building beyond that.
Cool. Yeah, I know that a lot of these teams are going into sort of the merch side of things. And sometimes, like, the reason I'm asking about the IRL stuff is because it seems like you guys are building sort of like a global community, and so it's a little harder to do some of the IRL stuff. But I know like metaverse is just a huge topic now. Are you guys interested in connecting in the metaverse at all, and like having these characters potentially in something like I don't know, like Decentraland, or anything like that?
I think like we've had internal conversations, like speculating every sort of avenue that we could go down, and we haven't like confirmed any sort of metaverse build, especially not in the short term. But we've had like fun conversations about it and stuff, and theorized all the things we could do. But like we've said, it's not anything we can like concretely say that we're doing, because we haven't set up that plan internally to go into the metaverse yet. But it's fun to sort of speculate all the wonderful things that you could do and create in the world of the sprites would live in.
Yeah, and I'll add on to that and say, you know, like Don said, like we very much like speculate about it. It's definitely something we're open to, but I think like at our core, we have always wanted to kind of build a brand that is very much like its own entity, and build a world that is very much its own entity. So it's not like our future plans hinge on like partnerships with other projects or existing within other spaces. Like we are very passionate about like our brand and the Sprite realm being something that is like very much we are the base of it, and anything like any kind of thing beyond that would be like a secondary thing, if that makes sense. We've always, you know, there's been many points in this where we could have cut corners by just kind of blindly doing what other projects have done, and there's no harm in that. And we have done things that have obviously, you know, there's only so many choices you can make. Of course, there's things that other projects have done before, but we take every kind of decision along the way, instead of just going, okay, look at what the blue chip projects have done and just copy it. We've gone, okay, but what fits best for Sprite Club? Even if it's not always the easiest way or the fastest way, we are very true to our brand, and any decision we make is very much purposeful, and not just purposeful in the short term, but in a very long-term sense, with conversations that we've had privately in our private vision for the brand that we're not ready to share just yet. but that is very strong.
And I think the community have said that they would speculated on they would like to see sprites running around in a metaverse and stuff, and like speculating on how tall a sprite is, for example. And it's like fun to like throw those ideas out there and hear the community talk about things like that.
Yeah, that definitely, like, I mean, I would think that a sprite is probably a little tiny, probably kind of like one of the
How tall do you think
Smurfs.
the sprite is? Exactly.
Oh, I would think like under a foot, real tiny.
We can neither confirm nor deny.
Yes.
I think of it, it's like those little games where there's this one, I'm not sure if you guys have an Oculus. There's this Oculus game called Moss where there's this little like rat that's running around and it's like a puzzle game. I kind of feel like that's probably about the size of a sprite, and it's like they're running through the village or the woods, and you know, there's just trees everywhere, there's streams around, and it's this little sprite. He's able to like hide underneath like a mushroom, like he's at the mushroom head on that one. That's how I sort of envision them. I'm not sure, is that what you guys think, or you just want it to be everyone can think however?
We know you couldn't. You know we couldn't tell you, but we love to tease, and we love to get our community speculating, and people love to run wild with it, and that's part of the fun of it, you know. I think something, not to flatter myself, but something that a lot of people have said is that sprites have like a lot of personality, which I would hope, because again, like, we are a personality driven project, and I think I've seen other projects talk about their NFTs as like pieces, and you know, that's not to hate on anyone. Everyone views their own NFTs differently, and NFTs serve different purposes for different projects. But to us, I don't think they've ever been pieces. They are like characters, and we've seen our community and ourselves become very attached to their sprites, or the one they're using for their PFP at the minute. And I think we've always encouraged people to kind of use them as like a jumping off point to imagine their own stories, and you know, imagine them almost as their own original characters. So yeah, we can't confirm, but we love to invite people to speculate and really run away with it, and it's fun to see that that has been possible for you as well.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the storytelling side of it is what makes you guys one of those cooler projects where it's not just like a whatever. You could tell that there's a lot of thought behind it, and you're also giving the holders a chance to sort of make their own story within their own character. And a lot of people, it's more likely that you're going to want it to use one of these as your avatars if you have a story behind it, right? So I think that's what's really cool about your project. So I'm going to do another one of these giveaways on stream, and then quickly talk about the other ways people can get involved. So for this one, type in #lucky into the comments, and then I'll throw you on. And then I think I'll do for this one 2 spins and grab 2 more. Then we'll get up to 3 to be given away today. And then as far as the others go, we're going to have a giveaway through the Twitter, and then our Twitter, the Lucky Trader, and then we're also going to have another giveaway through Giveaway Bot in our Discord. The Discord is in the comments here. I can as well throw it in the chat. But yeah, if you haven't gotten in our Discord, this is the way that you can get involved. And we're going to have another chunk of giveaway spots, around 20 to give out, which you guys have obviously been very gracious to provide to us. So we're definitely trying to help you guys spread the word and get more people involved. So we do have another question from the chat here. Let me pull that up. Oh, now all the luckies are in there. So the question is, what would you say is the biggest learning experience that you have had after seeing all of the other projects out there that you would want to bring to Sprite Club?
I'm happy to speak on this. A couple of things. Like I think maybe I have a unique perspective on this because I am somewhat newer to the like social aspects of the NFT world. Like I've been an observer and a participant, but not necessarily like stuck into like Discords and Twitter and things. And I found it an interesting space because it's very positive, and that's like a wonderful and beautiful thing. But it's also sometimes it comes off a little disingenuous, and I think we've always tried to be 100% ourselves, but not to sound all high and mighty, but simply because it wouldn't be sustainable for us to be public facing and be putting on this veneer of constant happiness. And so we've tried to create a space that's a little divorced from that kind of atmosphere of like just like wag me and like you know, we tried to create a space on our Discord where people can just go to vent and discuss their negative feelings about the space, about their life, without people jumping to be like, oh, well, like see the silver lining, or you know, here's like some advice. Like sometimes people just wanna you know, be negative, be funny, like be not have to be so like mushy and or high minded. And kind of to go on from that, I've seen a lot of projects kind of set out with a kind of mission statement. And again, maybe I'm a little jaded from my time in other industries, like the fashion industry in particular, but it's something I'm very, like I used to work in PR. I'm very aware that like it's the done thing now to come out. You can't just say we're a brand, look at our cool our product. Brands have to say, you know, it's, oh, we're going to change the world and we're uplifting creatives. And unfortunately, a lot of that now reads to me, at least, as virtue signaling. I struggle to see the like true intent behind those words. And a lot of projects now are quick to run on, say, you know, we champion mental health, we care about all of you, but they encourage grinding or you know, things like that. And it's actually like we've tried to handle our platform as responsibly as possible. Things like opening a mental health channel, it sounds on paper like a wonderful idea, but when you really think about it, we have to maintain a healthy, safe place, and we have to say, look, that's not something we have the capacity to properly moderate right now. You know, I think a lot of projects sometimes overstate their importance, or overstate what they are willing and able to provide to people, and they say like, this is a place to come if you're struggling. And it's like, at the end of the day, it's not. It would be irresponsible to say that. And I think we've shown that we are open to criticism. We've shown that we are transparent. We've shown that, like, if we make missteps, or if someone wants to criticize us, whether that's valid or not, that we will listen to that and adjust accordingly, and that we're not in the habit of over promising and under delivering. We are genuinely trying to build a good community here, but we feel that it's important to show that through our actions, rather than constantly saying, oh, our mission statement is this. And you know, it's a question we commonly get, like, what is the theme, what is the meaning? And I hope that, you know, if there is any meaning behind this, which I don't think there even has to be, I think that I don't think that there is anything wrong in, as a project, going, we just want people to have fun. We just want escapism, you know? Think of something like Pokemon. Is the mission there like something high and mighty, or do they just want people to have fun, escape from their lives for a little bit? But if there is a larger meaning and a moral there, we hope people kind of can speculate that, analyze that, discover that for themselves. It's not anything we wish to spoon feed on people. I've said it 1,000 times, but I'll say it again. We're not interested in fostering a community of sheeps that hero worship us, or you know, just blindly follow everything we say. We want a community of imaginative, critically thinking, intelligent individuals who will assess things for themselves and come to their own conclusions. So if there is a mission statement or like a larger moral behind it all, that's for people to discover for themselves. We're not going to come here and say, oh, we're going to change the world. If we can just brighten up one person's day, then that's the mission achieved, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, it's cool that you say it that way, because I think a lot of these projects feel the need to have a mental health channel. And I mean, most of those projects, like, none of them are mental health experts. So like, are they really providing what they should be in that? It's more like a vent channel in a way. And yeah, like you said, focus on what you guys are good at and how you can actually comfortably provide the value back to your holders, because that's what they really want to invest in. Like, I'm sure like some people might be trying to invest in some of these projects and hoping to be able to talk about things like that. But at the end of the day, like, that's not why they joined your project specifically. So it's more like they're talking with their friends, and just to force one of those channels in there. Like I've noticed that a lot more recently, and it's just like you said, it's just that's not what you're here for, and just focus on what you guys are here for. So pretty excited to hear that from you. I know that people in the chat seem to be the same, like, Miss Cotton Candy saying Ophelia is a very empathetic person, and it's good to have something like this where you guys can talk, and it's more of like showing your people who want to invest, like the true colors in a way. It's easier to do it over a chat like this versus just Discord announcements or things like that. So that's pretty cool. I'm gonna pull these other names real quick. So we got another 21, and let's see who wins it this time. Now, if you're not giving multiple spots out, correct? So if they already have a spot on the list, I'm assuming we'd have to give it to a new person, right?
We've been. Go
you
ahead.
go ahead.
Well, what we've been doing is allowing people to sort of donate if they've won a second spot, they can sort of bring a friend on board as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
But just to be clear, we make sure that is someone that they nominate either as a friend or just a member of a community. But we don't encourage people or allow people to run competitions, giveaways, or like sell for profit, just because again, we want this to be as fair and equitable as possible. We don't, it's against our rules to sell for Sprite List, for like obvious reasons that many projects do. But yeah, we do like to give people the opportunity to nominate a friend and bring in a friend if they get Sprite List multiple ways.
Perfect. Yeah, I saw someone in the chat ask that earlier. They said they already were on the list. Could they still enter? So yeah, good to know if you do need to. That's the way. So let's run this one more time and see. So proper coup, if you can respond in chat. Okay, yeah, you just did. We'll get you that info.
Oh my god.
Oh, see, it came back again. All right, let me do that rerun.
It's quite funny.
Yeah, what are the odds with that though? So proper coup, and then I had it was from Paletta as well. So far we've got a couple, and like I said, we're going to be running a little Twitter giveaway through into the weekend. I think we're going to run it to Saturday, and then within our Discord itself, if you enter the Lucky Trader Discord, which is linked below, we'll be running another little Reacto bot kind of giveaway in there. So Victor won this one. If you could just put your Discord name in there as well, and then we'll get the Discord invite over to you so that you'll be able to get in on the Sprite list. Yeah, is there anything else that you guys specifically wanted to talk about that we haven't touched on yet?
I guess I'll probably just quickly touch on ways people can get Sprite listed. So in the past we've done competitions like put the iconic Sprite eyes on sort of different images of like people or animals. Some people even put them on like buildings around the world and stuff. So often doing competitions like that or art competitions. But if people get in our Discord, we have already mentioned we actively discourage grinding. So we appreciate everyone has only so much time and can't spend tons of it on Discord. So even if people come in for 5 to 10 minutes for a few days, like we notice that, and quite often our mods will pick up on it. They have very good eyes for people who are contributing positively to the community, and we get the feedback from them and then just Sprite list people as and when in the Discord. So it's fairly easy to get on the list when you do get in, and we discourage grinding because we know people only have so much time.
Yeah, that's sort of like the new meta right now. But yeah, it's kind of one of those things where a lot of people are against it in general, and they're like, I don't want to sit and grind. Like if they're working throughout the day and like other people are getting up to level 10, 20, whatever it is, then they feel like they're at a disadvantage. But it seems like you guys are really just trying to create a tight knit community as it is, and not trying to have one of these discords with 200,000 people in it who are just like spamming messages to level up in order to get it. Like you want the people who actually want a Sprite to be able to create their own story with it, which is really cool.
Yeah, we have a lot of like genuine conversations going on all the time between us and like members of the community, between mods and members of the community, but also I log on to in the morning, like after going to bed, and I can see like there's been hours of chat going on between two members of the community. So yeah, it's great to see the environment that we try to encourage is actually sort of coming to fruition.
Yeah, and then where can everyone find you? Sort of plug your own personal socials if you'd like.
Oh, well, personally, if you want to follow me, go ahead and follow Sprite Club. I'm trying to funnel all of our followers over there. But I'm sure you'll find us in the reposts. I mean, anyone else could give theirs, but if you want to, I would encourage anyone that's interested in getting involved in the project to follow us on, at Sprite Club NFT, if I'm not mistaken, on Twitter. We try to give out invites in a bunch of creative ways. So we're doing lots of partnerships. We've got some really exciting partnerships in the works. And we do sometimes drop links. We also do puzzles and things. So because we are aware that like waiting and like rushing to like type in a code isn't the fairest way for everyone. So we try to do puzzles, competitions. And I'd also say, if you want to hear more of us, please do tune into our spaces on Thursdays and Sundays. We do a casual spaces just to kind of get to know and generally chat with the team on a Thursday. And then on Sunday, we have a more official spaces. It's a great place if you're looking for the latest announcements, some alpha. We tend to have slightly looser lips on there than we do generally. And it's a great place to kind of just like get involved, even if you're not in the Discord. And in fact, I will drop a tiny bit of exclusive alpha here, which is that without saying too much, I would highly recommend tuning into our spaces. We can sometimes be feeling quite generous on there. So there may be invites or even Sprite List spots going up. No guarantees, but yeah.
Yeah, I know Ophelia said she's too humble to shill her own channel, her own Twitter, but recently we've been trying to avoid dropping invite links on the main Twitter, and we've actually been doing it from our personals. So if you're listening now, it's I like Ophelia said, she doesn't want to shill her personal Twitter, but all of us have been dropping links every now and then, so you can get in that way by following us.
Cool. And then the chat wanted one more spin from me. So if you type in #Sprite in the chat right now, this is your last chance. I'll give you another minute, and then we'll spin it and then basically get out of here. So definitely keep your eyes out for, like they said, if you're following their personal Twitters and they throw out these little tidbits on how you can join the Discord. It's a really cool community. And as they mentioned, it's a tight-knit community that they're not trying to get like hundreds of thousands of people that don't care about the project. So they want the people who are paying attention, and it's going to be really cool to see how you guys grow. I'll definitely keep watching as far as once the minting process starts. And, maybe I end up getting in on the whitelist from one of those spaces or something like that. Obviously, like I'm not going to do it from these giveaways that we have, but if you're watching this or listening to it on the audio later tomorrow or something like that, we will be posting the link in a Twitter giveaway. We're not 100% sure how we're going to do it yet. I think we're going to use Gleam, and you're going to need to have your Discord IDs ready because that's how we're going to get you the link. I'll give this one more spin. Good luck out there if you spin.
Is that person going to win again?
I know, that would be funny. Talon BTW. All right. I think, oh, wow. Look, the love is already out here. Talon, just message your Discord with the number in there. Sam. Is that a Sam with a period? Just want to confirm with that on you. But yeah, thanks for dropping in today. We're glad to have you on the stream. I know we've been back and forth for a little bit on this, but we found a time that works for everybody because you guys are on kind of the other side of the world for me. I'm in Colorado, so I'm in mountain time right now. It's like still kind of early in the night for me, but glad to have you guys on.
Be going to Denver next week
for ETH Denver.
Yeah, potentially.
Oh, nice. Yeah, let me know if you're going to any cool events. Like maybe we could meet up, Adam. I'm not sure. I'll probably go to some of them out here because I'm already here. You know, I don't like have to travel for it. So that'd be cool. All right, yeah. So thanks for all of our listeners as well. Like it seems like the people that were in chat are pretty interested in this project. So good luck with you guys and everybody keep watching out for those giveaways.